Greetings, I'm Solidus Skully, and it is once again that time. It's the bitter chill of the winter season. And, yeah, basically we're playing Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PlayStation 2. A bit of a unique version. I usually only ever see the Wii version, but hey, I guess it's the second rarest version of the game, since I've seldom if ever seen the PSP version. But whatever, we're playing... Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite Silent Hill games of all time, but it is definitely one that I enjoy a lot, and, again, this is from the post-team Silent lineup, and this one was... Well, to get into my history with the game a little bit, it was actually a Silent Hill game I hated for years until I... until I played it again rather recently. I'd say... Actually, yeah, I'd say it's around about the point of the Silent Hill Downpour review, actually, because... Yeah, back when this game came out, you know, 2009, 2010, I was a Silent Hill fan, tried and true. I'd played through the Silent Hill 1 to 3, actually no, I'd played Silent Hill 4 as well. You know, I'd experienced the horrors of Silent Hill Homecoming, and, well... Yeah, to get into what Shattered Memories is, it's basically a reimagining of the first Silent Hill game. Again, takes the same sort of concept of, you know, Harry Mason loses Cheryl on Silent Hill, he has to go find her. Except it plays it up a lot differently, as you can see here with the changes in character design, the whole setup of the game that we'll be getting to quite shortly. Again, the whole shebang, and, well, let's just say that Kid Me wasn't exactly very friendly to the game because, in my own words, it was the gayest, most retardedest Silent Hill game ever and shits on the memory of the original. Fuck this game! Oh, my younger self, how I wish to strangle you until you stop fucking breathing. But again, I think I am kind of getting a bit too angry, so, let's know, all of us know, it's time for Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Oh, so I don't think therapists are allowed to drink alcohol in whimsical... I'm not going to do that anymore. But yeah, I mean, this is Dr. Michael Kaufmann, not the drug-dealing hospital director we found in the original, but instead a therapist. And believe it or not, he's one of the good guys here, so... Yeah. He does play a very significant role. I think I might save that for the next couple of parts, because I think it might become a little bit more appropriate then, but... Yeah, in terms of how I'm handling cutscenes, some I'll talk over, some I'll stay silent for, so in the meantime, well, enjoy this.
Yes?
The new patient is here. They're early.
That's fine. We can start now.
So, yeah, as you can see, Harry had a bit of an accident, and no, that was not Dr. Michael Kaufmann causing that accident in some sort of contrived James Bond villainy plot, no. And again, unlike the first game, there are no supernatural/occultic elements present within the game, so, sad as to say, we will not be seeing Alessia Gillespie or the cult have any sort of impact on this game. It is purely psychological from head to toe, babes, so let's rock.
I'm glad you came. Just turning up shows your commitment to the process. Good. I've read your notes. The other therapist didn't work out for you. I want you to know this will be different. We take this at your pace. No notes, no drugs, no theories. We go back to the start. Understand what happened. Take a look at this short form. I promise it's the only one you'll see during your therapy. Try to answer truthfully. It's easier that way.
And that is something we are not going to do, because I have a very specific ending in mind that I'm going to go for. Well, actually, to cover the endings in general, I do have one specific special thing planned, which will eliminate the bonus video, admittedly. But at the same time, though, well, in terms of covering the context of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, I think this is one of the most fitting endings of all time. What do I mean? Well, you're just gonna have to stick around for this commentary. Also, Gunnar Sobel. But I mean, at the same time, though, before I continue or anything, again, it's segments like these where I'm going to let Kaufmann talk first up about all the important shit he needs to talk to, then I'll talk over the cutscene, to basically elaborate on my thoughts and the general go-around as to what's going to result from these choices. Because Silent Hill Shadow Memories is very dependent on choice, and what you pick will have an effect on the gameplay, which I know sounds rich coming from an entire generation of the 2010s where we had games like, you know, the Telltale Walking Dead games that claimed such things, but never actually had them manifest, but in Silent Hill Shadow Memories, well, I'd argue that this game handles that sort of, you know, psychological process better than most.
Cheryl! Cheryl? Sweetie? Oh my god. Cheryl? 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 Cheryl!
Well, second verse, same as the first. This is Silent Hill Shadow Memories, and this is basically going to be the bulk of the gameplay. Again, gameplay is split between two specific methods. As you saw beforehand, we had the therapy segments with Dr. Kaufmann, where we'll basically be answering a bunch of his psychological questions, which will inevitably have an effect on the gameplay. But then we also have the, basically I'd say, how can I put this? It's kind of like a mishmash between what we had before with previous Silent Hill games in terms of exploring the town, picking up items, and, you know, just basically going around solving, well, puzzles, in quotation marks. I'd hesitate to call these specifically puzzles, but again, it's a very different setup compared to previous games, and even compared to Homecoming and Silent Hill Origins, really. Because again, as you saw before when we looked at that little poster of the, the pin-up of the woman in the bikini thing that was there to elicit lust or some shit. I don't know, I never really saw the appeal on that kind of thing. But anyway, basically, that's going to affect you in a very subtle fashion. Why do you ask? Well, it's because Harry... Well, let's just say that his psychology is going to play a lot into this game. Again, we're seeing a therapist for a reason, and... Well, again, just even taking a simple look will affect Harry's mental state.
Cammy.
Cammy, spit roasted by the Silent Hill Cuckoos. Yeah. But again, to go back to basic control scheme, I'd say... Well, again, I mean, at this point, having just recently played Silent Hill Homecoming, for the sake of the review... Oh god, somebody kill me! Sorry, completely forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, having recently played Silent Hill Homecoming, it's kind of like that, except I'd say the control scheme for Harry Mason here is a lot more refined, and compared to anything else, basically, no combat, no dodge rolls, no fisticuffs like we saw in Silent Hill Origins, no aiming your weapon and shooting. Harry is a bitch, and basically, any combat situation you run into with this game, you have to run away. Not that you'll be getting into combat anyway, because in the quote-unquote normal world, you won't be facing off against any enemies. And to talk about puzzles for a second, since we'll save combat for a later date, yeah, as you can tell, this game was initially made for the Wii and ported to the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. Puzzles were not adapted for the PS2 and PSP versions. This is a bit of a big problem with the game, because it means all your brain-teasing puzzles are the equivalent of use the analog stick to slide the thing to do the thing, bada bing, you do the thing, and that's generally about it. But in any case, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that Silent Hill Shadow Memories is a very linear game. It's certainly structured uniquely compared to any other Silent Hill game in the series, and I think because of that, it does have a certain unique appeal of its own. Like, I mean, I'd say that you couldn't really compare and contrast Silent Hill Shadow Memories to something like, say, Silent Hill 1 or 3 or anything. In fact, I'd say... Well, again, I guess I'll get into it shortly after this, because ostensibly, a lot of the gameplay revolves around exploration, finding bits and pieces of the town, and uncovering, well, memories. You're about to see what I mean quite shortly, but here we go.
fielding your calls? Christ, my wife just told me about the video. You think I'm gonna let you get away with that? You wipe our wedding video? You knew that was the only copy. You can't replace that. Watch your backs.
Watch your backs, you little sons of a bitches, 'cause I got something that'll make you watch your backs. A shotgun. Aim for your back. But anyway, stuff like that is exactly what I mean. You know, again, it's just uncovering random bits and pieces that you might think have no particular relevance, but rest assured, they do, and they do have a bit of a symbolic tie to the story, which, again, I'd say, as a whole, Silent Hill Shadow Memories does quite well. I'm not going to spoil anything, because I think Shadow Memories, more than most Silent Hill games, does rely on the first-time experience, so, again, when you're in the therapy sessions, or, again, if you're going to be playing the game for yourself, if you're liking what you're seeing so far, I recommend you play and answer the questions honestly, and just play with your own unique experience, completely fresh of anybody else's perspective. I suppose if I can talk to any audiences of the modern-day age who haven't heard of this game before, which I mean is fair, because keeping in mind this game is over 10 years old at this point, and Jesus Christ, I just make myself feel old by saying that. Yeah, I'd say if I can compare it to anything, it's kind of similar in nature to something like, say, the Dark Pictures Anthology, which is games like, fuck, what was it called again? Until Dawn and... oh shit, what was the other one called? It was like Man of Median or something? Medan? Again, something similar to those games. I'd say more Until Dawn, given the snow theme and the therapy segments, although I will say that Shadow Memories, again, this might be my bias showing, but I'd say Shadow Memories does this a little bit better in the sense that it's a core, consistent theme throughout the entire game, whereas Until Dawn was kinda kappa shit. And again, I mean no disrespect, but I mean, Dark Pictures Anthology is basically... I don't like it. But anyway, you might be wondering what this particular site is. Yeah, this is a Spectre that we can't really interact with at the moment, and yes, as you could hear briefly during the gameplay, yeah, you can press a button to call out for Cheryl. It's like the press X for Jason. It's funny, the meme, even though I don't think Shadow Memories really got the same sort of mimetic status, because I don't know why. I guess yelling for Cheryl is immediately less funny than yelling for Jason. But again, yeah, this is basically what most of the game's puzzles turn out to be. Pick up items, turn them around, and find the thing to do the thing. Bippity-bop, bippity-boppity, bippity-bop. Now, you might be thinking that the gameplay so far is pretty shallow, and again, that could... well, again, we haven't seen the full experience just yet, but again, you might be thinking that, but I will say that it is a game that is quite heavy on replay value. And at the same time, there is also a lot to say about Shadow Memories in terms of how... while one might consider it to be a very casual game that, you know, is the sort of thing that less, you know, hardcore survival horror nights in the vein of, you know, previous Silent Hill games or Resident Evil or whatever could get into, I would also say that it is also definitely a game that I think you could introduce newcomers to the Silent Hill series with. What I mean by that specifically, I'll probably have to get into a later date, because, yeah, Shadow Memories has a lot of cutscenes, and, well, again, I want to get most of the introductory stuff out of the way first, so that way I can talk over the other less important stuff, so I can discuss plot points, and, you know, the whole shebang, in the sense of, you know, what the game is really all about, and look what we have here. It is, Mariska Hargitay? Was that her name? The Special Victims Unit lady? Fuck it, I don't know.
You okay, sir? Not a good night to be out and about.
I'm looking for my daughter.
Take a seat. Your daughter. Go on.
We were in a car accident. When I came to, she was gone.
Maybe she went to get help. She a clever girl? Sensible?
Yeah, I think so. She's 7. Her name's Cheryl. Here's a photo.
Cute. Harry Mason. Levin Street. Your ID says you live on Levin Street. That's a few blocks from here.
Levin Street, yeah. Yeah, that's where I live.
Uh-huh. You feeling okay, Harry? Any headache, nausea, blurred vision?
Bit of all of them. Maybe she went home. That makes sense.
Harry? Your phone?
My phone. Right. They hung up.
A lot of problems with phones on account of the storm. Maybe that was your little girl.
She could be trying to call me from home.
All units, please respond. Unconfirmed reports of a potential looting on Finney Street.
Shit. I need to follow this up.
It's okay. I'll head home. I'm sure she's there.
Tell you what, soon as I'm done, I'll meet you over there. 11th Street.
Thanks.
So, that was Sybil Bennett in a very familiar sequence that we saw in Silent Hill 1. I'll be getting into a little bit more about the character dynamics as we go on, but yeah, let's just say that Sybil's appearance can change depending on what you make Harry out to be, and, well, yeah. Another gameplay mechanic. This is the telecommunications device, otherwise known as a phone. Besides using it to call people and talk about handy-dandy tangents for commentaries, you can use it... Well, you're basically using it to check your map, you can, you know, answer phone calls, you can flip through... Actually, no, I don't think you can flip through text messages, that was my mistake. But again, this is basically your menu, so to speak. It's in real time, so yeah, that can make for some very tense sequences when Harry's in a little bit of danger. You can call people, as you can see here. You can call a bunch of different numbers, actually. Some that are optional, some that are relegated to the plot, and others that are, well, just there for fun. I don't know if I'll show this off or not, but I think you might be seeing something a bit fourth wall breaky, and if I don't show it off, then I'll probably mention it at the end of the commentary, or if I can find some footage of it, which I'll probably credit for somebody for, but yeah.
My 7-year-old daughter is missing.
So again, because Silent Hill is, well, Silent Hill, well, except kind of, not really, because again, this is a very different universe. Keeping in mind this time that Silent Hill isn't functioning off spiritual powers that we've seen in the canon series. This is, well, again, it's sort of a mishmash of, again, like, I mean, it's sort of a mishmash between somebody's foggy memories and trying to make sense of their life. And again, as you also know during the cutscene, Harry lives in Silent Hill, on 11th Street, which is where the doghouse is.
I know where I am.
But again, the dude's a bit disoriented, and he doesn't really know where the hell he's going, so... yeah. Again, Shattered Memories, I think, does enough to change up everything from the canon series so that it feels new and exciting, but at the same time, though, it keeps the same basic premise, and, what can I really compare this to, actually? I'd say kind of like, it's kind of similar to Halloween to Rob Zombie's Halloween, really? In the sense that, you know, you have very similar premises, but again, they just sort of springboard into opposite directions. And again, like, I mean, putting aside people's animosities towards remakes, that is generally my sort of go-to in terms of a remake, if you absolutely cannot improve anything from the original. But again, that's just me. It is also worth noting, by the way, that there is actually a fair bit of multiple choice that you can actually pick with this game. Again, sometimes you can choose to go inside, you know, the old Diner 52, which is, again, seen in Silent Hill 1, where Sybil dragged the original Harry Mason into after he was attacked by the Grey Children / Mumblers. But again, what you can also choose to do in this game is go to a little bar named Good Old Dogs? Or was it Good Old Days? I don't quite remember. But anyway, you can choose to go in there and, well, yeah, alternate cutscenes happen. This is what happens with Spectres. I will be playing some of the messages that spawn from this, because, you know, these Spectres basically contain memories of the past and, well, a ton of familiar symbolic imagery that you will be... Well, let's just say it ties into the game's plot and does strengthen the game as a whole, so... yeah, I'll say no more about that. But again, as I am saying, like, this game is actually very big on the replay value. Again, not just with the Good Old Days sort of bar, where you'll get an alternate cutscene of Harry meeting this bartender who for some reason is open at this time of night. I mean, considering the heavy snowfall, the fact that nobody else seems to really be out, you'd kind of be wondering why the hell you're open at this time of night. Actually, more to the point, why the hell was the Diner 52 open at that time of night when there was no staff and only Sybil was in there? Very interesting. Yeah, but again, I just... Also, a similar instance, actually, is also to do with echo messages, as I was about to bring up just then. Again, you'll have your flashlight start to reverberate, basically turning into a strobe light, really. Again, follow the source of the sound, and as it starts to pick up in frequency, yeah, you unlock another little echo message that I'll be playing for you to listen to and soak up all of its ghostly atmospheric juices. It's like the udon noodle broth. Again, it isn't... Again, like, you might be thinking that the gameplay is, like, deceptively simple, and to a certain extent it is, but... I don't know. There's a lot of charm about it that I can't help but love.
To have and to hold from this day forward, I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, to sleep by your side and be your faithful companion.
Faithful companion, just like in the movies. But yeah, and also another thing is that, again, similar to the good old dogs sort of bar that you can go into, you can also enter into a dress shop and have something similar to, like the phone message of wiping the wedding video. Actually, I think it's meant to be the dude's wife, actually, based on the subtext, but again, I'll say no more about that. To put it simply, you have a lot of things to pick and choose in this game, and depending on your choices, well, it makes each and every playthrough unique, and excuse me, gotta take a call.
Cheryl?
Daddy? Daddy?
Sweetie, you're okay? Are you at home? Sweetie, wait there. Wait for me.
You have to run, Daddy. You can't fight them. Run!
What? Is somebody with you? Cheryl! I'm coming to get you! Damn it!
Ah, fuck. And, again, your eyes are not going to be deceiving you. That is not Mr. Freeze suddenly attacking Gotham City, because, I don't think Silent Hill is in Gotham. No, this is the other world, and it's all made of ice. Yep, now comes the craving of the enemies. But we'll be getting to that next time, so on that note, I am Solidus Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Silent Hill Shadow Memories commentary, be prepared for hell.